when we install our SAP system, first thing what you do, to do anything you have to log in into the system. First you server up, okay, server is up and running, green. Now first time I am trying to log in, okay, give login. What are the credentials it will ask you when you are trying to log in into the system? It will ask you for 4 credentials. What are they? Client number,
And
user
the
ID,
name, user,
and the
master,
password, right?
master.
For the first time you are giving 000 client and the user ID. That means by default with the installation you need few credentials, right? What are the few credentials means? By default it will give few clients, default clients. It will give few default users. Otherwise you can't able to log in into the system. If you don't have any default client, how can you log in into the system for the first time? That is the reason they'll give few default clients. What are the default clients? Are 000, 001 and 066. These three are the default client. Client number is always numeric 3 digit. Numeric 3 digit. We have 3 default clients. First time when you're logging into the system, it will ask you for a client number. Without client number, can you log in into the system? No. That is the reason SAP is by default giving 3 clients: 000, 001 and 066. 000 client is called as master client. 001 client is called as a reference client. 066 client is called as early watch client. What is the exact meaning of that? See. Without client, can you log in into the system? No. Okay, you have a client number. Without user, can you log in into the system for the first time? No. That is the reason SAP by default will give few client numbers and few users in that. By using that client number, by using that user, you log in into the system. Then you do the post installation activities. Then you start your development or testing or production work. For that reason, we got 3 default clients. One is 000, second one is 001, third one is 066. Client number should be 3 digit numeric, the range between 000 to 999. Any number between 000 to 999. But by default, they are giving 3 numbers: 000, 001 and 066. 000 client is called as a master client. 000 client is called as master client. What is the use of this client? When they are giving different client means there should be somewhat different reasons, right? What is 000 client? It is a master client. What is the meaning of master client? Why I am saying it as a master client means 000 client has access to all the tables of the database. What you do by using clients? You access the tables, right? To access the data from the tables, you need client. We know that. Why you need drive? To access the information from that hard disk file system, you need a drive. The same way, this client is for what? To access the data. Client is a gateway. When you log in with the 000 client, 000 client will have access to all the tables of the database. Remember this one. 000 client has access to all the tables of the database. That is the reason I am calling it as master client. What is the meaning of master key? You can open any lock by using that master key. The same way, master client is, but if you log in with the 000 client, if you log in with the other client, that client's data and common data you can access. But when you log in with 000 client, na, you can access entire database. That is the reason I am calling it as master client. And remember, 000 client is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. Remember this sentence. 000 client is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. What is the meaning of maintaining of R3 repository objects? Maintenance of repository objects means what? Programs, reports, screens. Maintenance of your programs, maintenance of your reports means if you have anything to change in the standard software, if you have anything to change in your standard software, you should log in with which client? 000 client mandatorily. Remember, in SAP we apply the support packages. Support package means the software changes, it will do some software corrections. If you want to upgrade your software, it will, that upgrade software also go and update your programs report screens. At these times we log in with the 000 client. Why means 000 client is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. Please say one more time, one time everyone. 000 client is
reserved by SAP
reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects.
standard R3
I'll ask
repository
this question
object.
daily. I'll ask this question daily. Okay, why 000? Why 000 means 000 client is reserved by, what is 000 means? 000 client is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. For example, if you want to do any changes in your software, you should log in with 000. Remember that. At the time of applying the patches, at the time of doing software upgrade, we log in with the 000 client. Why means that is reserved for SAP to maintain R3 repository. That is the reason. That is first point. The second point is what? 000 client has access to all the tables of the database. Second point is what? 000 client is having access to all the tables of the database. That's why we call it as master client. And third point, 000 client has a baseline customizing settings which are required for German business. 000 client has baseline customizing settings which are required for German business. What is the meaning of baseline customizing settings? Customizing settings means settings. So which are required for German business. This SAP software is German company actually, SAP is. So if you create any software in India, by default the country will be what? India. The currency will be what? INR. The same way the German company, that is the reason they are having the Germany settings. All the settings are Germany. If you want to change it to India, you can change that by default. Okay, when you purchase any mobile, by default, if you purchase a Nokia mobile, by default you will have Nokia ringtone. If you purchase iPhone, by default they will have their own ringtone, right? The same way, this software is German software. That is the reason by default they are having German settings. If you want to implement this SAP in India, you can change the India settings. If you want to implement in China, then change China settings. By default, you will have German settings. So what are the 3 points? First thing, 000 client is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. First point. Second point, 000 client has access to all the tables of the database. If you log in with the 000 client, you can access all the tables of the database. Third point, 000 client has a baseline customizing settings which are required for German business. It has baseline customizing settings which are required for German business. And the default users in 000 client are SAP star and DDIC. SAP star and DDIC. The passwords are 06071992 and reverse 1992-0706. Actually, this is SAP's release date, 6th July. Okay. What are the default users? So when you have a client, what is the use of a client when you are unable to log in into the system? To log in into that, every client should have some user. That is the reason this default clients will have some default users, SAP star and DDIC. DDIC means data dictionary user. Remember, DIC, data dictionary. Clear with this? 000 client. So what are the 4 points regarding 000? 000 client is, first point, 000 client is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. If you say this point, then only I'll continue the class tomorrow. Remember, I need only this point. 000 client is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. Why I am uttering these many times? Remember, that is that much important. That is the reason I am saying these many times. 000 client is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. First point. The second point, 000 client will have access to all the tables of the database. 000 client has baseline customizing settings which are required for German business. Fourth point, the default users are SAP Star and DDIC. The second client, 001, reference client. What is the whom it is referring? Reference client means it is referring to the master client. That means it is a copy of master client. Almost it's a copy of master client. 001 client has access to only customizing tables of the database. Only customizing tables of the database. What is the meaning of customizing tables? Customizing tables. Settings related tables. Settings related tables. Customizing tables means what? Settings, country,
Settings.
there will be some settings. Currency, there will be some settings. Town, there will be some settings. District, pin codes, zip codes, everything, all the settings only. Tax, VAT, GST, everything are settings only. Huh? These settings related tables are there. Your programs related, programs or reports or screens related tables are different. This customizing settings related tables are different. Everything is having in different tables. Huh? 001 client will have access to only customizing tables of the database, whereas 000 has access to all the tables, the repository tables, as well as customizing tables, as well as all the tables. But the 001 will have only access to customizing tables of the database. That is first point. The second point is it has baseline customizing settings which are required for German business. Same, I'm saying the copy of the 000, right? That is the reason it is also having baseline customizing settings which are required for German business. Third point, the default users here are SAP Star and DDIC. The same users here also. 000 client default users are SAP Star and DDIC. 001 client default users are SAP Star and DDIC. One more time. What is 001 client? 001 client is a reference client. It has access to only customizing tables of the database. It has baseline customizing settings which are required for German business. The default users are SAP Star and DDIC. Same passwords are same 0607 1992 and 1992 0706. The third client 066. The client name is Early Watch client. What is the meaning of Early Watch? It is early watching. Before the problem arises, it is watching you early and it will give you a report called Early Watch Alert. So actually 066 client is a service client. This client don't have any business data in that. Only technical data. That means RAM size, hard disk size, your database size, your table spaces size, your RAM, everything related to technical data. For example, you are implementing SAP in your business. SAP is one of the partner, one of the competitor for you in some other business. If you got any problem in your system, you want SAP's help, right? Software is SAP's. So SAP will log in into 066 client. If I give access to my business data, they can copy my business data, right? So that is the reason 066 client won't have any business data, only it has technical data. They log in into that system and they see the technical functionalities of your system, technical problems, and they solve the problem and they'll log out. So it is a service client. 066 client is a service client. If you get any problem, SAP people will log in into your system. In which client? 066 client. If they log in into 000 client, they can access all the data. No, I don't want to give my business data to SAP. I want my data security. And 066 client is used for pre-go live check. Pre-go live check. What is the meaning of go live? You're starting your business on SAP. For example, Hero Honda is starting their business on SAP. The first they install the system, then they do the development, then they build a quality system, then they do testing, then they build a production system, and finally they give training to their employees. Finally, on one fine day, they will start their business on go live. That day is called as a go live day. My project is go live on December 1st, on Jan 1st, on July 1st. You heard this about. That means a go live. Before going go live, SAP people will log into your system and they will check all the requirements, all the settings of your system, whether you configured the software properly or not. That check is called as pre-go live check. And SAP also will give you early watch report. On regular basis, SAP will give you early watch report. For example, your database is filling so fast, your table space are filling, you have to add the data files. Your RAM memory is utilizing 100%. In future you will get this problem. Before the problem arises, please make adjustments, make memory parameters change. Like that, it will recognize your upcoming problems and it will provide you a report. That report is called as early watch report. That is given by SAP by logging into early watch client. Early watch client is what? Just like a service client. You give your bike to the servicing, right? The that mechanic will do the servicing. The same way, this 066 client is for servicing of your system. For servicing of your system, 066 client is used. 066 client is a service client. It don't have any technical data. It is used for generating early watch alert and pre-go live check. And the default users here are SAP Star and early watch. SAP Star and early watch. SAP Star user and another user is early watch. The passwords are 06071992 and early watch password is support. Everything is same. Here is changing. Not DDAC. Why not DDAC means? DDAC means data dictionary. What is the meaning of data dictionary? Table structures and their interrelationships are called as data dictionary. Table structures and their interrelationships are called as data dictionary. So if 066 is having DDAC access, you can go up to table structure level. But I don't want to show my table's content itself. So why should I give DDAC access to SAP? That is the reason. There is no that DDAC user. Instead of that, they log in with early watch user and with support password. Are you clear with these three things?
Yes, sir.
So what are the default clients we have in SAP? With the installation, you will get three clients. What are they?
Master client, reference client, early watch client.
Early watch.
Numbers, please.
0000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000 It has all
Supervisor is
the
reserved by SAP
access
to
of
maintain
the table
data.
Okay.
It's reserved by SAP to maintain all
It has access to all the tables of the database.
Okay. It has access to all the tables of the database.
All
Okay.
the tables database.
Okay. 2 points. Another 2 points.
baseline customization.
It has baseline
For
customization
German
settings
business.
which are required for German business. Third point. Fourth point is the default users are SAP Star and DDAC. What is 001 client?
Reference client.
Okay.
Client is a customized.
of master client.
Okay.
It is a client access to only customized tables.
Customizing tables of the
Customized
database.
tables of database.
Okay. Okay. बाबा अस्सलाम वालेकुम. हेलो क्या बाबा वो ग्रुप में आया था. ओके. अच्छा अच्छा मैं कॉल करता हूँ क्लास में. ओके. What about 001 client? It has baseline customized settings which are required for German business, right? And third one is the default users are SAP Star and DDIC.
DDIC.
What is 066 client?
It is a service client.
0 client is a service client. I did want to
Huh. The service client?
Only technical data is available.
It has only
Okay,
technical
great.
data.
Great. Okay.
If there is problem in, they log in through it.
Who will log in? You are SAP.
Pre-go live checks.
SAP people will log in into your
SAP
system
people will
to
log
solve
in.
the problem. Okay. And it is also used for pre-go live check and generating early watch alerts, early watch reports. This is about your three clients. The default users are SAP Star and early watch.
Early one.
Yes. Okay. Fine. You install your SAP system first. Generally, what happens in organization? Now, Hero Honda wants to implement SAP in their organization. The first thing, they'll install one system. Okay, that system is their development system. Their system is called as development system. So ERP is a what? It is a ready-made business application which can be customizable as per organizational requirement. Can you directly use that software for your business after installation? No. According to your requirement, you have to customize that software. Right? Customization comprises of different things like customization, modification, enhancement, and development. Customization, modification, and enhancement and development. Right? So to do all these things, they need a system. That system is first system called development system. After doing all these things, all this implementation comprises of what? Customization, modification, enhancement, and development. Did you remember all those technical words? What does that mean? Customization means what? Settings. Modifications means what? Standard reports. You are changing something to standard report. That is called as a modification. Enhancement means what? Adding something new to the existing program is called as enhancement. And development is what? Creating new repository objects are called as a development. These are all things we do in a development system. Okay, you have done all customization, modification, enhancement, and development according to your requirement. Then we install another system, the same system. And whatever the changes you do in your development system, that will be moved to your next system. That system is called as quality system or test system. There we will do the testing. Okay, if everything goes fine, then you install another system called production system. You move all these changes from quality to production now. There you will add your original business data and then you start doing your business. So how many systems you are using for doing your business? 3 systems. One is development system, second one is quality system, third one is production system. Directly you won't do on business and development system. For development environments, you will have one environment. For testing, you will have different environment. For doing business, you will have another environment. So this is called as a 3 system landscape. In what is the landscape? Means arrangement of your systems where you do your development, quality, and production is called as development. Arrangement of your systems where you do your development, quality, and production is called as landscape. Wait for 1 minute, I'll show you that landscape. Where is the landscape boss? See what happens in general. By default, how many clients will have? 3 clients. Okay, 3 clients. 000 client has access to all the tables of the database, right? That means all types of data access is for 000. What types of data we have? Client specific customizing data, user master data, application data, cross client customizing data, and repository data. This 000 client will have access to all the tables of the database. Okay, then my question is, in which client I need to do my business? I want to do development. I have 3 default clients. Which client I need to use for development purpose? 000 is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository object. That means for any software changes, then only, that means repository changes. If you want to do anything in that repository object, then only I should use 000 client. Okay, fine. 066 client don't have any application data, don't have any software content, only technical content will be there. Only the remaining client is what? 001. If you want to do anything, you should log in into 001 client. But no customer is interested to work in 001 client. Why? What is the reason? 000, you can't do any development kind of things. It is reserved for SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. Only for software changes we use 000. 066 is for service client. Then where I need to do my development? Where I need to do my quality? Where I need to do my production? For example, if it is a development system, I should need a development client, right? All the development activities. The only remaining client is 001. But no customer is interested to work in 001 client. Why? What is the reason? Means when you install your software, SAP software, now what happens? After installation, as a part of post-installation activities, you apply latest available support packages and language packages by using 000 client. 000 client. So for example, you purchased a new mobile. When you first time connect to the Wi-Fi, what it will ask you? It will search for the latest available updates or not. If there are any updates pending, it will do all the updates first. Then only you will start configuration of your mobile ringtone, volumes, SIM settings, everything, right? The same way, every software will give you latest patches, latest bug fixes, and latest service releases along with their software. After releasing their software for the first time, after 3 months or 5 months, what they do? They will release the corrections. Every software will have some bugs. So to correct that bugs, what they do? They'll release some patches, support packages, bug fixes, and service relay. Whatever the different names are there, but the overall thing is they will correct that software. Whatever the errors you have in that software, they will correct that. Or else, any functionality are there, they will enhance that functionality along with that new support package or service release or bug fixes. After immediate installation of system, we do some post installation activities. In the part of that post installation activities, what we do, we will apply latest available support packages and the language package. Why we need language packages? By default, the software will come in two languages. One is German, second one is English. But if you are implementing SAP in some UAE or Dubai or some any Saudi countries, you need what language? Arabic language. If you are implementing in Maharashtra, if you are implementing in some different state, Telangana, Hyderabad, Telugu, you need some different languages, right? That the reason what we do as a post installation activity, we apply the latest available support package and language packages. By using which client you apply support packages? Support package is what? It is changing your software, right? It is making some corrections in your software. It is adding some new enhancements to your software. That means maintenance of repository objects. Which client I need to use?
Yes.
000 client. For
Yes,
applying support
000
package
client.
and language package and software changes, I need to use 000 client. So 000 client is the most updated client now. When I have most updated client, why I should work in 001 client? That is the problem with all the customers. That's the reason what they do. They'll create a new client instead of this 3 default clients. They'll create a new client, name some 100 or 200, any range between 000 to 999. Already you have 000, you have 001, and then you can add a 200 client, you can create 300 client, 100 client, any client other than these 3 numbers. And they'll start doing their business there. Can you please relog in one more time?
Okay.
So what they do, they'll create a new client. Instead of this using this 3 default client, they'll create a new client. 000, it is reserved by SAP to maintain R3 repository objects. Okay. 066 is for only for service based client. Remaining client is 001. But after installation, as a post installation activity, what you do, you apply the latest available packages by using 000 client. Now most updated client is what? 000. So the customers are not interested to work in 001 client. Instead of that, what they do, they'll create a new client. See, name 100. Now this 100 client is empty client. It don't have any access, right? So what they do, after creation of 100 client, number is your wish, not only 100, range between 000 to 999. What they do, they'll copy from 000 to 100. What happens, this 100 will have access to all the tables of the database now. All 000 authorizations will be copied to 100. Now 000 will have access to all the tables of the database, right? When 000 is having, and I am copying that authorizations, now 100 also have access to all the tables of the database. Then by using this 100 client, I use this 100 client for my development activities. I'll do all my customizations, modifications, enhancements, and developments. Done. My all the requirement is done now. After doing all this implementation part, we'll build a new system called quality system. There also by default I'll get 000, 001 and 066. The same story. You cannot work in these clients. So what I do, I'll create a new client called 200 for testing purpose. I'll copy this 200 from 000. Now 200 will have access to all the tables of the database, and whatever the changes you have done in development system, that will be moved to this database. Now by using 200, you will check all the changes. Okay, everything is fine or not. If everything is okay, then I built a new system called production system. Same, I'll create a new client named 300 there. 100 client is for development, 200 is for quality testing, 300 is for doing business production. This is development system, this is quality system, this is production system. I'll move all the changes to production database. By using 300, I'll use that database and I'll add my original business data to this changes, and I'll start doing my business on 300 client. This is called as a landscape. Landscape is nothing but the arrangement of your systems in your organization where you do your development, quality and production is called as landscape. How many systems are there in this landscape? 3 systems. That is the reason I am calling it as 3 system landscape. If you do development and quality in one system and production in second system, that is 2 system landscape. If you do development, quality and production in one system, that is a single system landscape. Remember, don't get confused with 3-tier architecture and 3 system landscape. 3 system landscape is different, 3-tier architecture is different. What is the difference between 3-tier architecture and 3 system landscape? Architecture is system dependent. So this system is there. It will have presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. This second system also have presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. This system is also having presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. That is system dependent. Architecture is what? System dependent. Landscape is what? Business dependent. How you are doing your business, that is landscape. Architecture means every system should follow 3-tier architecture, right? If it is a SAP system, it should follow 3-tier architecture. So 3-tier architecture is different, 3-system landscape is different. If you want, you can use only 200 for development, create 200 client in this system only and do testing there. And take a new system and create 300 client and do your business here. That is 2-system landscape. If you use 100 for development, create 200 client and do the testing there, and create 300 client in there and do the production there. That is single system landscape. The landscape is nothing but how you are doing your business. If you are having multi-system landscape, the product of the quality will be good. I'll give you an example. If you build a pen, if you develop a pen, you buy your own. If you do the testing, do you find any flaws in that? According to best of your knowledge only, you are creating that pen, right? So you don't feel any flaws in that. If you give that pen to me, if I write something, I'll find some defect in that. That is the reason any software, not only SAP, the development environment and the testing environment should be different. The thumb rule of any software, the development environment and the testing environment should be different. For example, if you're developing one bike, in your plant only you will have one track. If you maintain one road and if you do test there, everything will be fine. But if you bring that bike to my road, my bazaar, then there will be problem. When it comes to the real-time scenario, you get flat road, no problem. But in my bazaar, I don't have flat roads. There, you'll get a problem. That is the reason the development environment and the testing environment should be different. If it is different, then you will find a flaws and you correct them, and then you build a good product. The quality of the product will be good if you have multi-landscape. If you have a single landscape, then development there itself, testing there itself, you are doing production, all unnecessary data will be saved in the same database. Now whatever, for example, if you write 100 programs, if you got 100 thoughts in your brain, you write 100 programs. Will 100 programs will success? No, only 10 to 15 programs will be succeeded. Only that succeeded programs will come into quality. Only this database having only successful programs. You will test that. In that 15 programs, only 10 were tested okay. Only that 10 programs will come into production. So your production database will be clean and neat. Only the completed tested programs will be there. If you maintain single database to do all the activities, everything will be there. You will get confused, right? Uncompleted program, unsuccessful programs, corrupted programs, wrong syntax programs, everything will be there. Yeah, Ranjit bhai, you are a tester, you know all these things, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You are getting very clear these points.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, great. So the development environment and testing environment should be different. And the developer and tester should be different. If I am the developer, if I do the test, I won't find any flaws in that. If I give some Ranjit bhai to do the test, he will definitely find some faults in that. Right? Then I'll reconstruct that and I'll make some corrections in that and I'll make that perfect. Then he tested and he said okay. Then only I'll move that tested okay product to quality system. They will use their own mechanisms. Then some manual testing, automation testing, some different types of testings are there. They'll do all those testings. Finally, that will be moved to production system. There we'll do the business. The product of the quality of the product will be good if you have multi-system landscape. So if I am having three, I am maintaining three systems for doing development one system, testing one system, and production one system, and that is called as a three system landscape. If I do everything in the same, then, for example, what is the disadvantage of single system landscape? Everything is in this database, your development data and quality data and production data, everything in this database. If this hard disk corrupted, what happens? Your development gone, quality gone, production data gone. And the number of users, all the developers, testers, and end users, and the functional people, everybody is logging into the same system. The hardware resources, you are giving burden to hardware resources. Your hardware resources has to share between these many users. That is also problem. Okay, for example, if you are applying some patch, you are having only one system. If you are applying the patch on this system, if the system suddenly stopped in between, your development gone, production gone, quality gone. See, example. Have you ever updated your mobile? Have you ever updated your mobile software? It will give updates, right? Your system. When you say update, yes, what happens? It will come that green Android figure. Right? It will reboot your mobile. The green Android symbol will come. It will finish 1%, 2%, 3%. How your mental stability at that time? You will be in somewhat nervous and tensed, right? Will my mobile come into the previous state or not? Yes or no? Be frank.
Yes.
Till you get your
Yes, sir.
wallpaper and your mobile phone back, you will be in somewhat tense, right? Why? You are changing the software. If something goes down between that, after hitting that update button, you will check, you will get it out. Do I have the proper battery or not? If your battery is low battery, it will stop in between. Gone, your system gone. So these things will happen. That is the reason if we maintain three system landscape, I'll apply the patch on this. If everything goes well, then I'll apply on second system, then fine, then only I'll apply on production. If this system gone, I can build a new development system. If this system gone, I can build a new quality system. But if this system gone, it is very difficult to build the system. It anyhow will have a backups. But if you maintain all the things in the same system, what happens? The hardware level problems, the power level problems, the resources problems, the data problem, the confusion, the unnecessary data, these are the disadvantages of single system landscape. If you maintain three system landscape, everything will be cool. The product of the quality will be good. For a voice, what is the difference between the BD and a cigar, the small gold flag and king size? You booze, right? Fogging, boozing. Right. What is the difference between that? The filter, right? The filter thing is different. If you have double layer filtered, what happened? It will be somewhat smooth, right? The same thing is happening here. I'm not encouraging. I'm just convincing the topic, right? So it will be like that. If you have three system landscape, the quality of the product will be good. Whatever the problems you will get at the development phase, you will solve that. For example, if you are applying the patch and development system, if you got one problem, you solve that problem here. Again, the same system, quality system also. If you are applying here, you know that problem will arise and you are ready with the solution and you will do the thing immediately. Then finally, you will apply on the production and you know the problem, you know the solution, and this time you will do somewhat fast, right? Why? In a production system, you will have less downtime. Your business is running on production. Only on Sundays, you will have non-business days. On that day, you have to finish that work. If you get directly, if you apply on the production, if you get a weird problem, to find out that solution, it will take 2 to 3 days. So what about your business on Monday and Tuesday? That is the reason we maintain three system landscape or two system. SAP is recommending to have two system landscape at least. At least two system landscape. No for single system landscape. If you have three system landscape, it is very good. If you have a multi-system landscape, it is very, very good. That is up to you. So the only thing is TCO. What is the TCO? Total cost of ownership. If you maintain multi-system landscape, the total cost of ownership will be increased. If your owner of the business is having no cost problem, then maintain multi-system landscape. If not, at least go with the two-system landscape. So horizontal and vertical here, see, the architecture is system dependent, landscape is the business dependent. How you are doing your business, that is landscape. Architecture is how your system is built. There will be presentation layer, there will be application layer, there will be database layer. If I have three systems, means three systems also should maintain three layers: development, in application, presentation, application, and the database layer. Is that fine with everyone? Or any doubts?
Yes, sir.
If you say no doubt, I will wind up the session. Tomorrow we will continue. How we are creating a client? I said create a new client. Okay. How we are creating a client? How we are doing the copy? How we are doing the copy? Client creation, client copy. There are different types of client copies are there. Local client copy, remote client copy, client export import, and what data you want to copy. Everything. We'll discuss that tomorrow. How to create a client, how to log in into your newly created client, and everything. Please go through the class one more time before coming to tomorrow's session. Tomorrow Sunday. See, we'll see how it goes. Okay, chalo. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you.
Thank you.